I think he's close to becoming a big-time guy. As far as a playmaker, he's there. Just the way he stepped in and did what was asked of him last year. Being a big-time tight end, being where I need him to be, communicating his ass off, being a great blocker, but really putting it all together. That was Dak Prescott's thoughts on the Cowboys' second-year tight end, Jake Ferguson, who is expected to be the featured guy in 2023. In his limited opportunities last year, Ferguson shined, catching 19 passes for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. But in 2023, I'm expecting Ferguson to take a massive step forward and be in the conversation as one of the league's best tight ends. So stick around to hear my stat projections for Jake Ferguson and why I think he's going to shock the entire NFL. Let's get into the video. In the 4th round of the 2022 draft, the Cowboys selected a tight end out of Wisconsin, Jake Ferguson. Throughout his 4 years in college, Ferguson caught 145 passes for 1,618 yards and 13 touchdowns. A pretty productive career when it was all said and done. But when the Cowboys made the pick, I don't think people were all that excited knowing that Ferg wouldn't be the featured guy since the Cowboys already had a #1 tight end in Dalton Schultz. With Schultz now gone, it's time for Ferguson to be the featured tight end on a talented Cowboys roster. And I think he's going to shock the entire NFL and make a case as a top 5 tight end by the end of 2023. I know, 19 catches to a top 5 tight end seems like a bit of a stretch, and it probably is. But let me explain. I don't typically do hot takes on this channel, it's not really my thing. But I really believe that Ferguson has top 5 potential, and I wanted to make this video telling all of you my hot take for 2023. That way when it does happen, I can say, I told you so. Or if it doesn't happen, this take completely crashes and burns. But I'm not saying all this without something to back me up. So here are 4 reasons I believe he can get it done in 2023. Number 1, Dak Prescott loves throwing to the tight end. We saw it throughout Dalton Schultz's career. Schultz had 57 catches in 2022, 78 in 2021, and 63 in 2020. He had over 575 yards in all 3 of those seasons. Number 2, I think Ferguson is better after the catch than Schultz was. In his time as the Cowboys starting tight end, Schultz averaged 10.1 yards per catch, and it felt like towards the end of his time in Dallas, he offered little to nothing once he caught the ball. His 10.1 yards per reception in 2022 ranked 24th overall in the NFL. I think that Ferguson has more juice with the ball in his hands than what Dalton Schultz offered throughout his entire career. I think that Ferguson can have a higher yards per reception, leading to bigger numbers. Number 3, I think in Mike McCarthy's offense, we're going to see a lot of tight ends running underneath on drag routes. That means that Ferguson's getting the ball with a little bit of space in front of him so he can do some work after the catch. In Kellen Moore's offense, we saw Schultz catch a lot of passes on hitch routes and then get tackled as soon as he caught it. When the Cowboys got Ferguson the ball out in space last year, he looked really good doing it. He looked super athletic, especially when he hurdled that guy against the Giants. Number 4, I think Ferguson offers more down the field than we saw from Dalton Schultz. Like we saw in the Cowboys' first preseason game, Ferguson is likely going to offer more down the seam and more big play opportunities. Maybe it was because of the Kellen Moore offense, but Schultz ranked 27th in deep targets with just 4 in all of 2022. His average depth of target ranked just 16th among tight ends. With Schultz now gone, the target share at tight end opens up a ton. Last year, he was targeted 87 times. That is 87 opportunities left open in 2023, and possibly even more if Dak can stay healthy. The year before, he had over 100 targets. So where are all those targets gonna go? Let's get into predicting Jake Ferguson's 2023 stats. Before we do, make sure you guys comment your predictions down below. How many targets, catches, and touchdowns does does Ferguson have? Make sure you comment. Drum roll, please. Ferguson is targeted 89 times, catching 66 passes for 759 yards and 7 touchdowns. That is 11.5 yards per reception and a dominant year that people take notice of in 2023. Let me know down below in the comments if you enjoyed this type of video. If there's another player that you want to hear me talk about before the Cowboys kick off their season in September, make sure you comment their name down below. Now go watch this video where I talk about young players for the Cowboys that have to have a good game in week 2. I'll see you guys all over there. I love you all. Bye.